Good morning, everyone. Good morning. I'm Michael O'Brien. I'm an executive vice president with WinnCompanies. We're a premier developer and manager of high-quality housing here in Massachusetts, proudly here in Massachusetts, founded and operating here in Mass, but also throughout the United States. And I'm proud to be the MC for today's celebration. Excitement's in the air. You can feel it, right? Here in the great city of Holyoke, a crisp fall day, a change of season here in the Pioneer Valley. That rhythm of change, growth, adaptation, renewal, it's symbolic of why we're all gathered here today. I grew up in Chicopee, Mass, adjacent here to Holyoke. And Holyoke was a place to be, and I remember it fondly as a youngster. From shopping in downtown to getting medical services, from events and happening. Coming over the bridge was a big deal. All the O'Briens piled in a station wagon coming into downtown. There was 11 of us, so it was a pretty large station wagon. The rhythm of life here in Holyoke was 24 hours, with factories running 3 shifts. Life almost ran by the whistles of those shift changes. But the earth continues to spin, seasons change, economies change, and the world adapts, and cities adapt. And we all have to find new and innovative ways of adapting as well. So Holyoke has done this so very well in the 21st century, and hats off to the community. We stand here today adjacent to Appleton Mills, that once was one of those manufacturing giants. 3 shifts employing hundreds, making alpaca wool and textiles and cotton. It was a national leader here in Holyoke. We at WinnCompanies have been working for 5 years, since 2016, to assist in that renewal and renaissance of Holyoke, to breathe new life into Appleton Mills. So we're excited, as all of you are, as to the surprises and presents our next speaker has in store for us. It's with great pleasure that I introduce my great friend, a dynamo at the helm of the state's Executive Office of Housing and Economic Development. He walks the walk, he's can-do, he's make happen. Please welcome Secretary Mike Kennealy to the podium.
Oh, Mike, thank you so much. We don't have just going to project this way then. Okay, all right. Great to be in Holyoke this morning. Great to see you all, Mike and Larry and Gilbert from the WinnCompanies and the mayor, our legislative delegation. It's wonderful to be here. I always say when you show up at events like this and you see who's here, it's a great illustration of how we get things done here in Massachusetts and what it takes to develop affordable housing. And it's wonderful to be here and much appreciated. This is a really exciting project. This is one of 7 projects that we announced over the summer as part of our, what we call the Rental Housing Rapid Production Program, or RHRP. DHCD is great at a lot of things. Acronyms is one of them. And so 7 projects, 678 units. This is going to be 88 units for folks 55 and older. And we're so pleased to support this project. It is a wonderful project, and support the other projects in this round. So delighted to have this announcement here today. And by the way, with the WinnCompanies, this is, I believe, project number 12, and 2,000 units developed across the state. And yeah. And as Mike said so well, we've been in very uncertain times lately. And, look, DHCD, I'm here with Undersecretary Jennifer Maddox and Kate Racer. Yes, yeah, do that. If you look at what has been on their plate these last 18 months, it is mind-boggling to think about how much they've had to handle. For example, we have something called the Eviction Diversion Initiative we announced about a year ago. And we took basically a $20 million a year rental assistance program and scaled it up with state and federal funds into a $900 million program. And we put out $270 million of rental assistance to keep 43,000 families housed. It is a nation-leading effort to get this money out the door and keep people housed. But while doing that, and so many other important things, I always say that the production engine never stops. We just keep producing more affordable housing units. And that is a testament to Kate and her team and developers like Wynn that even during these pandemic times, when there's been so many different and urgent priorities to focus on. That housing production engine has not slowed, and it's wonderful to see, and wonderful to see the example here today. I'm here today as part of a tour of affordable housing across the state, organized by Jennifer and Kate and team. We did a similar tour 2 years ago when I was a relatively new secretary, and I went back and looked at the numbers, Kate. Between 2 years ago and this year, it's 14 days, 26 different communities, and 53 projects that we will have seen. And I got to tell you, it's just inspiring to see the work up close. And again, you see the collaboration, the folks here today, how we make these projects happen. It's just amazing. And we have great team and great projects and great strategies behind this work. What's most inspiring to see is knowing the impact this has on people. And you think about the 88 folks that are going to live here, right? And all the people that live in all these affordable housing developments across the state, and what it means for them and their families and their communities. I think it's why we all do this work, is that having that impact on our citizens, the folks who need us. The governor has this great expression, which is do more of what works. And this works, what we're seeing here today. You know, the funding from the state and the city and the collaboration with Win and the Redevelopment Authority, that this formula works. And we'd like to do more of it. And so we, 3 years ago, the governor signed the largest housing bond bill in the state's history, $1.8 billion. We've invested $1.4 billion so far to create 20,000 units. We have a proposal in front of the legislature now to use $1 billion of the $5.3 billion the state received under ARPA and invest that in additional housing. We think that's, yeah. We think that's a really good idea. And so, for example, this would allow us to do on an annual basis 50% more than what we do today to produce more housing units. We have, and with all aspects of the governor's proposal, we're talking about proven programs with a proven pipeline of projects. And so there are 175 projects in Kate's pipeline, which we kind of know what we want to fund. We just need the money to do it. So we need to do and want to do a lot more in housing. I'll close by saying this. We've been using the term housing crisis on our team for a long time. And we use that term long before we ever heard of COVID-19. We've been in a housing crisis now for a generation in Massachusetts. We simply have to produce a lot more housing. And we just did this study a couple months ago, released it, called About the Future of Work in Massachusetts. And it describes a world where, you know, we're coming out of the pandemic. There's more people working in remote and hybrid manner. And what does it mean for us as a state? We're all about talent. And now, you know, we always want to develop, attract, and retain talent, and now talent's more mobile. What are the things we need to do to ensure our competitiveness as a state and make sure we have a more equitable economy? And if you take a look at the report, there's not predictions, but there are scenarios. And cutting across all these scenarios is a need to do things at greater scale than we've done before. Like, no matter how the world turns out, there's things we know we need to do. We got to take a hard look at childcare, right? Have more capacity for childcare in different models. We have to reskill our citizens at levels we've never had to do before. Probably 30 to 40,000 folks a year that need to find a different career pathway. But one of the biggest takeaways in that report is we have to solve the housing crisis, because we're simply not going to be the kind of state we want to be unless we do that. So today is a great example of the work. It is always great to get out in our communities and see such fabulous examples of this work in partnership and collaboration. It's inspiring to see, and congratulations to Win, to the city. Big thanks to the team at DHCD. Great to be with you all this morning. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. How great is he? I'm going on record. I love you. There's no I in team, and I think, Mr. Secretary, you said it so well, from the governor, the state administration. But I want to particularly compliment both Undersecretary Maddox and Director Racer. We work all around the country, proudly work all around the country in the production of housing. There are no better experts in the world of housing production and the programs available, and their ability to think creatively on how to apply those programs to make real projects work than both Kate and Jen. So I want to say thank you. Great job. Amazing work. And they're tough. I got scars to prove it. They're tough. We've been so fortunate to work with a great partner in the city of Holyoke, a leadership that gets it, that knows it takes hard work, tough decisions, and partnerships that cause a renaissance and revitalize this community. It's my pleasure to introduce Aaron Vega, Director of Planning and Development, to come forward for a few words.
Good morning. What a great day. I'm also so thankful to be in this new position. I don't have to wear a suit anymore. So I don't have to vote anymore. I was on the walk-in school bus this morning, so that's really why. Couple of things. First, thank you, Kate. Thank you to your team. We hope to have you out here a lot more. We got a lot of projects in the pipeline. We hope to be some of that 175 that the secretary mentioned. So again, thank you for being out here again. No Colombian food today, but we do have bagels. So it's great to have everybody out here as always. A couple of things, 3 quick things. The mayor couldn't be here, so I send his congratulations as well. Mayor Murphy is a workaholic. He's got 4 weeks left. He's back-to-back meetings. Unfortunately, he couldn't rearrange his schedule, but he sends his congratulations. He sends his thanks for investing in the city of Holyoke. The previous administration, obviously, and my predecessor, Marco Marrero, they worked really hard on this project, so I want to thank the work that they did. And when you talk about partnerships, you talk about collaborations, I want to give a shout out to my team in my office. John Dijek, who's here. John Dijek has been working with the HRA. You're going to hear from Tom. He's been working this project for 6+ years, right? So Pat Duffy, Rep Duffy, and I knew about this project. We've signed many a letter of support for those tax credits over the years, and we'll continue to. You mentioned the housing bond bill. I think one of the last votes I did as rep on that last 24 hours was another housing bond bill, and that money is what's being here today. So I'm coming full circle. So that's really amazing. But when I came on, about a month after I came on, we got the call from Lauren and Adam saying, hey, we've got half the tax credits, we're going forward with phase 1. I was like, oh boy, here we go. So within 6 weeks, we got through the project, the site plan review, the special permits. I never knew how much regulation there was in building a parking lot. So that was interesting, conservation. So shout out to Jeff Burkott, Jack Colerain in my office, and Yoni Glauwire, who was conservation director. So without that team in place, we couldn't have gotten you through site plan review and all this stuff within 6 weeks. So just a big shout out to the office and everybody there in City Hall. Last 2 quick things. You mentioned the housing crisis, and I'm so glad you framed that because we had a housing crisis pre-pandemic, and we continue to have it today. And when we talk about affordable housing in Holyoke, we talk about, it's unfortunate that it's just sort of a big umbrella word because we're really creating workforce housing here. We're creating housing opportunities for people who want to stay in Holyoke or maybe downsizing, right? These units here, there's going to be 15 market rate housing units, and there's going to be a scale of affordability. So it's about letting people find that first opportunity. And of course, also being able to say, I want to stay in this community when I'm downsizing, or if something's changed in their situation. So this is going to be fantastic, and it's just a transformative project, and that's really what we try to bring to this area. As we have the Cubit and the Steam Building, Gateway City Arts, and other things going on here. This is just going to build on that, and that momentum is just fantastic. And so I want to thank everyone for that. And then the last thing to say is that this is going to be one of the most interesting projects to watch, because we know the condition of this building is not exactly stellar. It's got some issues. They're not afraid of these issues. I thank the team for taking this on. But they've got 22 feet from the building to the canal and a train track on the other side. This is going to be really...
What are you saying?
This is going to be so much fun. So it's going to be amazing. This is going to be a transformative project. It's going to be a real show of what can happen when the team comes together, the right investments come together, the right tasks come together, that things can be done that sometimes we think can't be done. And so I just thank you for your tenacity, thank the team at Win, and look forward to working with you on this phase, the next phase, and hopefully projects in the future. Congratulations and thank you.
Thank you so much, Aaron, and love that energy. It's good stuff. I also want to thank, with us here today is the Holyoke City Council. We've got Juan Anderson Burgos as well as Peter Tallman. Thank you for your support and your efforts. I think we all know leadership is essential to drive long-term revitalization and economic growth. Appleton Mills will happen, and that success will have his fingerprints all over it. We are fortunate to have a leader in Congress that knows Holyoke, like the back of his hand. He knows its progress, he knows its needs, and is a champion for the city, Congressman Richard Neal. Speaking for him today is Kareem Kibodia of his office. Kareem.
Good morning. My name is Kareem Kibodia, and I am excited and proud to be here in front of all of you today. James Baldwin once wrote, "For how we may triumph and how we may be delighted and how we may find success is never new. It must always be heard." Our communities of color have suffered. The COVID-19 pandemic has only exacerbated these issues. We need to all be doing more to step up and fight for those who need to be fought for. Right here next to us today is a perfect example of that. Creating housing, creating jobs in our community is how we move forward and how we become better, both as a community and as a society. I was talking to the congressman yesterday about specifically what additional investments our communities need and how we can all move forward, and he kept it very simple. He said invest in the people, love the people, and help them love themselves. And so with that, I just want to make sure that we're all keeping that in mind and that we're all doing our best to continue fighting for each other, to continue fighting for ourselves. Thank you.
Thank you, Kareem, and thank you to Congressman Neal for all his support and efforts that make projects like this happen. It takes a village, it certainly does, and it takes partnership at all levels to make this type of magic happen. The legislature here in Massachusetts is a vital partner. Your local senator and representative are nothing short of the best, fighting for all things Holyoke, but also keenly aware that so goes the Commonwealth, so goes the city. It's my pleasure to welcome both Senator John Velis and Representative Patricia Duffy to the podium.
Hello, good morning. It's such a great morning. I love all the messages here that we're hearing today. So thank you so much for coming out. And I also want to recognize that another legislator is here. Councilor Mike Sullivan is here too. So I'm here, I feel like I've been in this project almost as long as anybody, both as the legislative aide to former Rep. Aaron Vega and also a longtime member of the Holyoke Redevelopment Authority. So I want to shout out to my fellow members, Chair Tom Creed, Daphne Board. This project goes exactly with the Center City Vision Plan, the community meetings that we had, listening to residents, what they wanted. They want mixed levels of housing. They want downtown walkability. We just see the city becoming more and more vibrant and building on our strengths. And to have someone with the track record and vision of Win to recognize that, we really thank you so much, and to have the state partner with them, it means everything. The other part of this that I find really exciting, of course, we want more housing production, we want new housing, we want the jobs that goes with that, but we also want to respect the bones of what's already here. Like, there are just gems all over the city, and we can make them usable and livable and workable again, and this is the perfect example of that. So thanks again, thanks so much, and I give it to my partner in the Senate, Senator John Velis.
Good morning, everybody. One of the cool things I get to do is when a colleague of mine or a former colleague of mine comes up and says something that I know not to be true, I can call him on it. And Aaron Vega just did that. He came up here and he said he was on his way to the bus. That's why he's dressed like that. Right after he got out of the legislature, I said to him, do you miss it at all? He goes, no, I no longer have to dress like you guys One of the best in the business. We miss him dearly, but I got to call him out on that. So, Mr. Secretary and team, at the end of the day, this really is what it's about. But even before I get to that, I just want to say thank you. You've been no stranger to this area. I don't know what it was, a few weeks ago, a month ago, I have no idea. My days kind of all blend together for that small business tour. It is not lost on anyone here your commitment to this area of the Commonwealth, because as you know, us out here in Western Massachusetts, sometimes we have that complex, if you will. You know, we like to see our folks in Boston come out here, and you, as well as the administration, have been great at that. Your entire team, thank you so much for being here as well. Win. The state, the legislature, members of the city council, members of the city in general. This is really what it's all about. Collaboration, collaboration, collaboration. That is how things get done today. I don't care what it is, whether it's housing, whether it's the opiate crisis, whether it's veterans advocacy, collaboration, 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 and many other issues. You know, what's really cool about this is that you look behind us, look to the right and everything. You know, we're here. We see a mill that has been vacant. You know, throughout America and the Commonwealth, we have mills and factories that are vacant. And it has led to so many of the ailments in our nation today. So when we can have that turned into something, we can take something that's bad and turn it into something beautiful and affordable housing. It doesn't get much better than that. That really is what it's all about. And I guess the last thing I would say is this, and that's why it's so critical that folks are out here. We know we have a housing crisis, but one of the things we also know out here intimately is that that housing crisis looks different depending on where you are in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. So it's absolutely critical that we have this opportunity to talk about these projects and tell you what you already know about this housing crisis we have out here and how it's different from other parts of the state. Such a beautiful day. Thank you to everybody involved. There have been so many people at the ground level who have been involved. Great to see my friend Marion for the first time in a long time, and just really happy and honored to be here today. Thank you very much. That was payback. That
A little stage theatrics there. I'm truly blessed to work for an amazing company. Great people doing great things. As Arthur Wynn would say, the founder of our company some 50 years ago, we do well by doing good. And it's really part of our philosophy, and it's part of our each and every day. We just celebrated our 50th year. Unfortunately, our 50th year was during COVID, so we didn't celebrate like true Irishmen would. But we're looking forward to it in the future. WinnCompanies is now aptly managed and overseen by Gilbert Wynn, doing a tremendous job as a next generation, leading us into innovation, entrepreneurship, and finding creative ways to get good things done. And the development team is driven by Larry Curtis, the president of Wynn Development. He's here today with his better half, architect Marla Curtis. So round of applause for both Gilbert and Larry. And then Wynn Development's A-team that really make the hammers swing and get the projects done. It's led aptly by Adam Stein. Adam, the podium is all yours.
Thanks, Mike. Hi, everyone.
Good morning.
This is exciting. This award will begin the process of transforming these mills. So the project is building 6, 5, and 4. So 4 runs to that little break just beyond that chimney right there. So that's the project that we've identified. The Redevelopment Authority owns all the way down the canal, and we've identified this as a 2-phase project. First phase being what you see here today. Of course, the only day the canal is empty is today. Every day, the canal is full and blue and pretty, and I said to Aaron, what the hell happened? Right? So I guess he described it as a cleaning process for the fish. I don't know.
Take the fish.
Yeah. So that's the answer. This only happens 3 times a year, I promise. Today. 88 units, quality mixed income housing for residents 55 and older. 14 market rate units, 63 affordable units at 60% AMI, and 11 extremely low units at 30% AMI. The $40 million development will contain a host of common amenities, on-site management, a fitness facility, resident lounge, a new canal walk that'll run along the canal in front of the building, And because the building is so long and has limited access on Appleton, we came up with this innovative idea. Gil was behind this. He was the puppeteer. But we identified a building on the other side of the property here. You can't see it. It's on Essex Street. And we're going to build a 2-story community building with an elevated pedestrian bridge over the train track that'll access the center part of the building. So now you have 2 access points. You have access on Appleton with drop-off, parking lot across the street, and a brand new community building on the other side with elevator access and parking. So really thinking about how people get to the site, access the site, and making a better place to live. So I think that was a real kind of creative process here. This is an extremely important project for the city of Holyoke. It'll revitalize the downtown historic district, and we're super excited. This is a really important milestone to kick this process off. I wanted to thank a lot of people today, but quickly focus on a few key themes that we've talked about today. It's community impact and collaboration. So Appleton Mills, which housed the Far Alpaca Company, was one of the most influential textile mills in the city during the late 19th and early 20th century. It produced alpaca wools and cottons and was one of the city's largest employers. At one point, it had 2 hospitals on site for its employees and families. It had a co-op grocery and an athletic association, a 2,000-person auditorium. The buildings across the canal have been vacant since 1990. And today's award will not only place those back into service, but really turn them into a contributing community asset by providing much needed housing, supportive services, and bettering the lives of 88 Holyoke households. We've been working on this project for a long time, as Mike said, since 2016. And throughout the entire process, the city has been an incredible supportive partner. The mayor, city council, the HRA, the Planning and Economic Development Group have worked tirelessly to make this a competitive, shovel-ready, new production, high-impact project. DHCD, Mass Housing, Secretary Kennealy, Undersecretary Maddox, Kate. How lucky are we to be in Massachusetts and to work with you guys on a daily basis? To be able to partner with such a smart, thoughtful, and proactive housing agency that has the foresight and ability to provide innovative policy, expand housing, and provide households with the resources they need to thrive. You really deserve a big round of applause. Thank you for recognizing the need, taking action, and thank you for awarding the Appleton Mill project in the rapid round. Special thanks to Aaron and John. John will make you a believer of us, I promise. Larry Curtis, Gilbert Wynn, Marion, Mike, Lauren Canapari. Just a quick raise of your hand. Lauren's the day-to-day. Lauren's working on this daily, pushing, making sure it all happens. So wanted to highlight Lauren and let everyone know how hard she's been working on this. So thanks for all for making it happen. We're really looking for everyone back here for a groundbreaking. So thanks so much.
Thank you, Adam. He mentioned the Wynn team, and I call her the Wizardess of Oz. Pay no attention to the woman behind the curtain. Lauren does an amazing job on a day-to-day, on a project management on such a complex project. So, Lauren, I wanted to give you a shout-out. We also have with us Marion Sullivan, who does a fabulous job for us, as well as Caitlin Fox. So thank you all for being part of our team. Great job. So it's teamwork. You've heard that theme. It's technical work in so many ways, where Lauren leads that charge with our team. But we work side by side with the Holyoke Redevelopment Authority here. And that's working side by side with developers. It's a business. And I will tell you that the Holyoke Redevelopment Authority understands that. And it understands the rhythm of business and works hard with us to make a project like this happen, with checks and balances, which is so important for a public agency. So to the HRA, you've done so good here. It's my pleasure to introduce Tom Creed, the chairman of the HRA.
Mike, thank you. I should say at the outset that tying a tie is not like riding a bicycle, Aaron. You might want to try it once in a while. To Secretary Kennealy, to the DHCD, everybody from the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, to our partners at Win, Mike, Adam, Lauren, all the partners at Win who have been such great partners on this project, to our city officials, to our city councilors who are here today. I want to thank you all for being here. I want to remind everybody that it was a little over a dozen years ago that then Mayor Mike Sullivan reinstituted a redevelopment authority in the city of Holyoke, not as the tool for redevelopment, but as another tool for redevelopment. And the first thing that group did, which included Pat Duffy, we wrote an urban renewal plan. And I think at the time, and it might be still true today, this urban renewal plan was the largest by area in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. And that was an indication not just of the need of the city, but the potential that Holyoke has. Since we wrote that plan, it's been clear to me that there are 4 attributes of a successful urban renewal effort. And those attributes are a good idea, good partners, patience, lots of patience, and capital. And those, if an idea is missing one of those elements, it's probably not going to succeed. But if an idea has all of those elements, like this one does, then it will succeed. I look down the road at South Holyoke, which is another one of our projects, South Holyoke Homes. That's another project that has many of the same partners, including DHCD and the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, Mass Housing, the city, that's also going to develop housing in a neighborhood that's needed it for years. There's capital going into that today, capital that's being contributed by DHCD and Mass Housing and others. But the hope is that when that multi-phase project is done, the capital will be coming from private mortgage holders, people that will own homes in that neighborhood and call it their own. That's when we are truly successful in South Holyoke. And as excited as we are here today, the more exciting day will be when tenants start moving into these 88 units. That's when we know that we've succeeded. Like everyone else, I want to thank all the partners. Certainly I want to thank Win. I think it's instructive that the history of this building was provided by the developer. They know where the building came from, and so they know where the building can go. And I just think that that's absolutely critical, and I want to thank you guys for that. I want to thank the state for all of the support that they've given time after time. And I certainly want to thank our staff members. I think about Kathy Anderson and Marcus Marrero, who were the first leaders of OPED when we started the urban renewal process, and now Aaron and John and Ben. The amount of work that was done by OPED, by the law office, by planning, it was extraordinary to get us to this point. So I want to thank all of them, and I want to thank my fellow Redevelopment Authority members, our Vice Chair Carl Eager, member Daphne Board, who is with us today, and Jay Wellahan, for all of their effort in making today possible. Thank you all very much.
Well, you've heard the themes today of teamwork, collaboration, hard work, and goal-oriented focus. And that's what this embodies. That's what the Commonwealth looks to do statewide, border to border. And we're pleased to be part of that team and a part of that effort, and we look forward to helping you spend that billion. With checks and balances. So I know you'll be all sad to hear that this ends the Mike show, but I want to thank you all for being here. Obviously, we're proud to be part of all of this that's happening, and we look forward, as Adam said, to the groundbreaking and many, many more, and the Commonwealth's focus on housing, which is so important this day, and made even more important based on the pandemic and some of the effects that has so graced our population. So thank you. I also want to recognize Jose Delgado from the Governor's Western Mass team. We appreciate his efforts here locally, and we appreciate all the work that the Governor, staff, and team does as well. So thank you very much, and we'll see you soon. Thanks.